Good afternoon. This is Craig Modelmog for the week ending April 30th, 2021 for this week's episode of Wall Street X's and O's. I would like to welcome everyone. To kick things off, we got to do our disclaimer, right? We got to be above board and be within the guidelines of how we are being tracked and making sure we are abiding by the rules. So anyway, the opinions on this show are mine. They are not an offer to buy and or sell any investments. Investments can and will lose money. They are not FDIC insured. And all the information is believed to be factual, which I will assure you it is. But you know what? I have to put believed to be just to keep the regulators happy. Anyway, I got a good show today. We got good stuff. I'm going to try to do this every other week. I was doing weekly, but I think that the data and the information will be better if I skip a week so I can really gather more quality data. I would say let me know if you love the weeklies. You know what? I can get back to banging those out for sure. But the every other week, I think my hope is the content improves. Not that it was bad before, but you know what? I hope it just gets better and a little more specific. Because I'm always trying to be better, as I hope everyone is. But that is the focal point. But the top three things this week are earnings. Earnings season's underway. We're going to hit that. We're going to talk about the dollar's continued decline. I like the sound effects. I'm upgrading the quality of videos here with sound effects today. You got to love that. And the last thing, I've got some really interesting stats. I was on a conference call here earlier this week, and it was a webcast on a really one of the top demographers that's out there named Neil Howe, and he's fantastic. And I just got some really cool statistics. But anyway, let's kick it off here with earnings. Earnings is underway. At this point in time, there have been 285 of the 500 S&P 500 companies report. And as one would expect, earnings are better. But let's think about this. I want to add some context here. First quarter 2021 gets compared to first quarter 2020. For all of those who you do not remember what happened first quarter of last year, which I'm sure those of you that don't, you've blocked out the pandemic and what's happened the last 14 months. But so you've got a quarter over quarter comparison. So first quarter this year versus last year. And like I said, they're really good. Sales growth collectively is up 11.9%. Earnings growth collectively is up 54.14%. Some of the biggest performers earnings-wise, materials up 108%, consumer discretionary up 130%, and financials up 169%. Those are big. Here is Craig's prediction, and it's really not even, I'm not even going out on a limb on this. If you get into Q2 compared to Q2 of last year, Q2 of last year was height of the pandemic, economic complete shutdown. Q2 numbers are going to be off the charts. So while that's good, you have to create some context there. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. It is exciting, and I think the markets are really in a slow melt up. Wall Street right now continues to be net short. What that means is they are pessimistic or negative, believing that the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000, which is small caps, are all going to go down. That's where they're placing their bets, literally. Market continues to melt upwards. Earnings fantastic. As the markets continue to rise, or should the markets continue to rise, what do you think Wall Street and the institutions and the hedge funds are going to do that right now are betting it's going down? Yep, that's what they're going to do. So anyway, moving on. The dollar continues to drop. I've been talking about this for a long time. We have been short the dollar a long time, and we are going to be short the dollar for longer. Why? Here's what's going on. Number one, the downtrend has resumed. Cause massive liquidity. Anybody watch the presidential first message to Congress the other night? I watched it. all I could hear was cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's all I could hear. Why? If I had dollar bills, you know what? This is what's happening. Feeding the ducks. I'm at City Park Lake feeding the ducks bread. All of a sudden I get massive gobs of ducks around me. Why? Because I've freaking got a whole loaf of bread. That's the problem with the dollar right now. So as we keep printing money, they're talking 4 trillion. If AOC and co gets their wish, it's going to be 10 trillion, right? Holy crap. If you just put your hands out, stuff falls in it. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to work or nothing. You just stand there and it falls in your hands. It's pretty incredible. So anyway, that is a massive contributor to the continued devaluation of the dollar, the continued rise in commodity prices, the continued rise of inflation, and the continued rise of interest rates. It's going to be interesting to see to what degree all of these happen. What am I doing? I'm measuring and mapping and tracking the rate that all of these different things are accelerating and seeing if they're accelerating or see if their acceleration is causing other things to react accordingly. Going to be interesting. So hold that thought. Closing out here, cool statistics. I have a whole wad here for those of you that are watching. Some of you listen in your cars on the way home. Kev, peace, what's up? Scott, peace, what's up? I have a whole wad of papers here of interesting stats. This is from the famed Neil Howe demographer. U.S. fertility rates have dropped to the lowest level in the last 60 years, 70, 80 years. No, 60, 20, 60, and 20 is 80. The last 80 years, 1.71 child per person. And see, I'm doing the Dave Letterman throw. This goes to the Frasers because they laugh when I throw stuff. So anyway, death rates spiked this last year. Duh, it's called COVID, okay? They spiked from 715 per 100,000 people up to what? 822. Crazy. I know, shocker, not really. Life expectancy. So do you think life expectancy increased this last year or decreased? This was a decrease, and it dropped from, crap, I didn't print the right page. Basically, life expectancy has been going down consistently. This is the 6th year in a row. Life expectancy now, 77.3 years. If you are currently older than 77.3 years, God bless you. You are beating the odds, okay? Causes of death. This is good. This is when it gets good. This is when Craig's throwing some curveballs. I used to have a mean curveball. Overhand curveball on the nights it was on. Couldn't hit it. I thought I was big time, but I wasn't. Anyway, COVID-19, obviously we had no deaths from COVID in 2019, which we did. We just didn't know it. But anyway, they were up 345,000. Influenza deaths. Here's the thing. Oh, the flu has vanished. Wrong. They were up 3,712 from 2020 to 2019. You're wrong. Yeah, in your face. Bam! Overdoses went up a bunch. That's sad. I'm not even going to focus on that. Suicides went down. Interesting. That's because they OD'd. Traffic accidents, more people on the roads. They increased by 3,365 deaths. Homicides, people are getting pissed off. They're in their house. They're hanging out with people they thought they liked, they don't like anymore. Getting angry, going out, shooting their guns. Increased by 6,300 on the year. What do you think the number one cause of death was in 2020? I'm going to sit here and let you ponder this thought, because I know some of you are getting too quick to the gun. You're getting too quick to the response, firing the gun too quick. And guess what? Heart disease. Isn't that interesting? Almost 700,000. What's next? Cancer. Just a hair under 600,000. What's next? COVID. 350. Interesting, huh? Here's an interesting one. This is going to population. Do more people live in cities or do more people live in rural? So this is rural versus urban counties. If you go back to the year 1900, 60.4% lived in rural America. God bless them. That was the place to be. Only 39.6 lived in urban areas. Fast forward to 2020. That is 120 years. See, my math is working on Friday afternoon. Only 17.5% live in rural. Rural is described as a city less than 100,000 people. You know what? Whenever I go back to Lawrence, Kansas, that's considered rural. I like it. Why? You don't have the crazy going on like here in Fort Collins where they're working on all the damn roads and I only have one way to get to work. It really sucks. Yeah, I get angry on the way home. I put on some calming music as I drive home, or I get home and I'm pissed. Yeah, it's crazy. 82.5% of the population now lives in cities. Okay? It's getting better. I'm just so fired up here today. See, I got lots of energy. It's Friday afternoon. I actually feel worth a crap today, which I haven't in 13 weeks. For those of you that are joining me for the first time, this show is unedited and uncut. And 13 weeks ago, I got COVID, and it put me in the hospital for 3 days. You know, it's okay though. I'm a trooper, right? I'm a trooper. Top states where people were moving to and from. This gets good. The number one state people were leaving, California. Yeah, they all freaking moved here. Sorry, I get a little fired up. Number 2, New York. Yeah, that's no shocker. Number 5 was Illinois. No shocker, mainly Chicago. Cool to go to. Definitely wouldn't want to live there. Number 1 places people were moving to. Number 1, Florida. Number 2, Texas. Lots going on in Texas. Okay. Number 3, people were moving to California, but there were more people leaving California than there were moving there. Number 4, Colorado. Yep. Not a shocker. You drive around the Front Range from Fort Collins to Denver to the Springs. It's a mess right now, right? It's a mess. Why did people move? 42% said affordable housing. 34% said that it was money related as a result of COVID. 34% that said it was to move housing related as a result of COVID. Okay, it was a result of COVID, so there was a money issue, and then there was the pandemic. 48% was because of loss of income. 38% said it was a result of health concerns in the area. These are just kind of a variety. So lots of reasons people were moving to Colorado. It's crazy. And to shut this down for the week, in 2020, we had more baby boomers retiring and shutting it down, thus Florida being number 1. It's been fun. See? Good data. I love the data. All the data came from the CDC, came from some of the other stuff here, the boomer retirements, and then also from the November 20 census data. Legit data. You got to hunt for it, people, like I've been telling you all along. Don't flip on the TV and assume what you're hearing is the facts. You have to hunt. Anyway, it's been a pleasure seeing you all today. I love you guys. Have a fantastic weekend. Here in Fort Collins, we're going to have 83 or 84 degrees on Saturday. If you're like me, sunscreen, hat, sunscreen, long sleeve shirt when you're working in the yard. Yeah, the sun's not my friend. If you're in other parts of the country, I hope you have wonderful weather as well. But anyway, for the week ending, April 30th, last day of the month, we had a decent month. I tell you what, it's always fun, and I'm excited to see you guys in 2 more weeks. Please shoot me your feedback on the every other week versus the weekly. If I get lots of people pinging me saying, yeah, I'd rather do it weekly, fine. If you love the data here, because I'm really focused on just good facts. I don't want to get too boring and repetitive because then you don't tune in. And I want you to tune in because it's fun, and I want to educate you and inform you about what's happening out there. These are things that you don't hear in the news, and that's why I am doing this. So once again, April 30th, 2021, this is Craig Modelbog for Wall Street X's and O's. Thank you for joining me, and I am